Back in 2024, I decided that I was going to lock in. I started waking up at 4:30 every single morning to grind towards my goals. I made 3 videos a day, was consistently sleep deprived, literally got symptoms of depression, but all the successful gurus did it too, right? I thought that if I just went through this phase of my life, I'd make the money I wanted and then I could finally start to live my dream life. But after more than a year of suffering and doing this, nothing really changed. As a matter of fact, my business was doing worse. And I want to warn you, because this is a very dangerous way of living. Because every day I speak to more young brainwashed people that if I tell them to just go outside for a walk instead of work 10 hours a day towards a goal, they think I'm trying to bottleneck their goals or something. But you might wonder what I did after this period of locking in. And no worries, I didn't become a full degenerate who just does nothing all day. I started taking the holistic approach. And for some reason, I started making insane progress after only just a week. I got more sunlight, started grounding myself in nature, and I forced myself to not get stuck into any weird philosophy or lifestyle that online gurus promoted, and I felt free. I stopped obsessing over money. Of course I still wanted it and I still do, but instead of waking up at 4:30 in the morning, I started just working at random cafes together with a friend of mine. And instead of following all these habits or autistic atomic habit routines, I simply just started listening to my own intuition, thinking, what do I really like? What makes me feel alive? What do I want to do? Just a simple question. Have you ever ask yourself that question? What do I want to do? Not thinking about what's healthy, not thinking about what other people want, not thinking about what successful people do. Just simply, what do I like to do? It was like discovering a superpower I never thought I had, called intuition. And the beautiful thing is, my friends, many people do not possess this skill of following their intuition. And now that I do, I'm sitting here at 20 years old in my own apartment, having the ability to work on this meaningful project of mine every single day, which is making these videos and building our community, which is also thanks to you guys. So just want to say, I'm grateful for you, brother. Now, you might be doubting yourself right now, right? You might be in this weird phase of your life with a little bit of frustration and also a little bit of motivation to really change up your life in a way. And you might ask yourself, am I gonna start grind mode, or am I gonna lock in, or is it really the right approach? Well, I just told you to follow your own intuition. But it is important to look very objectively at what locking in truly means and what it will truly do to your life. Because for me personally, at first I was motivated, but as you know, I became very depressed and I started hating myself. And I want to spare you that horrible way of living. So if you're still convinced that after this video you want to start this lock-in period of your life, then be my guest. So let's look at what locking in truly means, objectively. The term is usually used to describe an intense period of your life where you just remove all distractions, focus on one goal and do not stop until you've achieved it. And this all sounds amazing on the surface. Only simply the thought of focusing on one mission, removing everything around it and going full force towards it is something that brings out a certain energy in men that's impossible to describe. The term locking in or grind mode promises this feeling of discovering new insights, overcoming problems and becoming a stronger, better man. However, the reality is that you'll start becoming a hamster running in a wheel, working yourself to death, ignoring others, ruining your relationships, and telling yourself that you're not worth anything until you've hit a certain goal. And the reason why so many young men are drawn to this idea of locking in is because of their innate desire to just leave everything behind and chase freedom. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? If you have a little bit of a masculine essence, then everything you do in life is centered towards some form of freedom. You want to make money so you can buy your own piece of land where you can do anything you want. You maybe want to quit your job or school because you want to pursue something that feels truly meaningful to you. I mean, even think about the physical action of ejaculation, right? You want to feel this release. It's basically the simple main motivator for men, freedom. But I can tell from experience, and I want to warn you, that you're just about to cage yourself into a new addiction.
It's so many things that I've been trying to accomplish have still not come into fruition. And sometimes this makes me feel like a failure.
Locking in is just an addiction, and I was addicted to it for a full fucking year. You're literally about to sign a contract with yourself that you're gonna hate your life for today, tomorrow, and maybe even the next few months until you've hit one goal that feels nice for maybe one day, before you find something else that you need to lock in for. So honestly, fuck that. Do not lock in. Because you'll end up in just another spiral of life, just another weird artistic way of living that doesn't fulfill you. Breaking up with your girlfriend, running away from the world, and ignoring your family is not heroic, it's not masculine, and it will not make you happy. I know the idea of it seems very romantic and amazing, but 99% of people who've actually locked in and are honest with other people, not trying to sell them into some weird course or anything, they will tell you that it wasn't fun, unless it had a meaningful purpose behind it. And that also might lead to you questioning yourself, but then how do I achieve my goals? I still want to do something with my life, you might think, and I'm glad you asked. You simply take the holistic approach. It changed my life, as you probably already know, and it can change yours too. So I'll try to explain to you how you can start doing it, because I'm not here to just tell you do not lock in and leave you with that. Because once again, if you're a man, then you want to achieve some shit in your life and you have all the right to feel that desire. So first, I want you to think about something. What would happen if you felt so full of energy, happiness and thrill during most times of the day? Just this nice feeling of feeling inspired, energized, and just a feeling of flow, right? You might have heard of this book called Flow. It's basically the state where everything around you fades away and you're just at one with yourself and with the world. You're ultimately present. I'll just sketch out how a day like that might feel. When you walk out the door and you meet someone you know on the street, you have an open posture and you smile brightly and make them feel heard, which in return makes you feel even more confident and happy. And then when you set yourself a cup of coffee, you enjoy it fully with pure presence and gratitude for the amazing flavor it has, and it makes you even more energized. And afterwards you come back and you sit down to do some work and you promise yourself that you're gonna give your absolute most for the next 60 minutes. And before you know it, it's 90 minutes later and you're mentally exhausted, but you're glad that you focused on this goal. And now you do not start working more and force yourself to hit more tasks in the day, but you go outside, get into town, maybe socialize, go into a cafe and sip another cup of coffee, or you get some organic, nice, invigorating, energizing foods. You sit down on the couch, you eat them, and for a moment your energy drops dramatically and you just embrace it. Because you've been living so fully and presently and so energized, it's normal to now feel a little dip of energy, and you do not force yourself to do more work, but instead you just lay on the couch, close your eyes and go for a 30-minute nap, or even just watch a random YouTube video that you like. It doesn't matter, you just have to fully embrace resting. And so afterwards you feel refreshed and you hit the gym with full force. You chuck 1 liter of organic juice, which gives you the most amazing pump you've ever had. And so you return home feeling sharp, energized and motivated, and you sit down to do some work, not promising yourself to do any amount of work because you've already done your daily hour of work, but time flies by again and for some reason you've done another 2 hours of work. Okay, I'll stop there for a second. Are you noticing something? Do you realize that on a day like this that I just described, the focus is never on achieving one goal and eliminating everything else in your life? The only thing that we focus on and the only true goal that we truly have is to feel fully alive. And as a result, you do everything fully. Not in this weird fight or flight state trying to force yourself to do 10 hours of work every single day. When you rest fully, you close your eyes, you breathe deeply and you eat a lovely meal. But when you work, you try your best, your extreme best to just get it done. And whilst working, you just simply enjoy it. You smile, being grateful that you have the ability to even work towards something. It might take a month, it might take a year, but you're enjoying the process. And that's basically what holistic living means. It's resting fully and working fully. And I want to give you some practical things that you can do daily. These are things that I do, like grounding in nature with your bare feet to let go of stress and inflammation in your body, reading Stoic philosophy for a more grounded mind, focusing on eating organic, nutritious foods to avoid toxins building up in your brain and body, because yes, that's actually what happens, or even retaining your semen and not ejaculating so often to spill all your energy. There are many practical things that you can do that simply improve your life in a tremendous amount, and we talk about this a lot in the community. By the way, if you haven't joined the community, I'd love to talk to you. You can hop in if you want. It's the first link in the description. But at the end of the day, the most important thing I want you to take away from this is that locking in is just following someone else's philosophy. Yes, it might work for 5% of people. And yes, you might achieve some results after a few months of hating yourself and doing nothing but working. But the honest truth is that you have to listen to your own intuition. What do I truly feel in my heart that I want to do? What makes me feel fun? What makes me feel alive? What makes me feel hyped to wake up? I honestly think that locking in is just another form of fear. Fear of failure, just this over obsession about one thing, not looking at the big picture. Like, are you really gonna skip a nice barbecue on a Saturday evening because you need to wake up at 4:30 4:30 a.m. to just grind towards this nonsense. Think about how you can contribute to your town, to your community. How can you walk around your neighborhood smiling to everyone, making the world a better place? Let's have that as a priority for once, instead of just trying to get all these artificial things as fast as possible. Be brave enough to listen to your own intuition. I can only help you with the first 99%, like the practical advice, the philosophy, connecting with you in the community, having a chat with the boys. But the last 1% can only be discovered by yourself. And I'd be lying if I saying that I could help you with that. Thank you for watching. We'll speak soon.